GoHighLevel versus Course Creator 360. What is the difference? What are the benefits? What are the apples to apples comparisons of these two softwares? If CC360 is built on a GHL infrastructure, what are the main differences? This is one of the biggest questions I get about our software, and over 10,000 course creators have joined CC360, many leaving softwares like Kajabi, Teachable, School, ClickFunnels, and yes, thousands of those people coming off of GHL to join ours. So why? To answer that question, I'm going to be comparing these two platforms on 6 main categories. We have sold over $25 million in online courses. We've been doing this since 2016, over 10 years. I have joined a lot of softwares myself. And every time I join one or am considering joining one, I always look at these 6 main categories. First, costs. Second, support. Third, email deliverability. Fourth, education. Fifth, templates. And then 6th is services. Because I've been asked this question literally thousands of times since launching CC360, I'm gonna make this video quite extensive and very specific, very detailed. There are a lot of misunderstandings about the differences not only between our two softwares, but how we differ from other softwares as well. If you're looking to create, market, and sell your online course, a community, a membership, a coaching program, if you're in this info education world trying to monetize your education online and you're considering using GHL or you're already using GHL, this is the video for you. Now, before I jump into those 6 categories, we have to talk about the macro problem with GHL as a whole and why it necessitated the launch of our own software, CC360, in the first place. GHL is used by and is trying to cater to everybody: hair salons, dentists, real estate agents, chiropractors, restaurants, mortgage brokers, agency owners, course creators, everybody. A good way to think about this is if you are sick, if you've got a problem and you want to know what's wrong with me, you could go to WebMD and they've got literally tens of thousands of different symptoms. They've got this huge catalog of what could potentially be wrong with you. It is still helpful. They've got every symptom, every disease, every possible treatment and condition known to man. It's all there, incredibly comprehensive. But when you're actually sick, when you actually need help, you don't want WebMD. You want a specialist. You want someone who has seen your exact condition 5,000 times. They can take one look at you and say, I know what's wrong with you. Here's a solution. Here's what you need. Here's the game plan. Here's the blueprint. Here's the tools. Here's the support. CC360 is the specialist. GHL is the WebMD. Since 2016, we have sold over $25 million in online courses. We sold another $5 to $7 million in other digital products like software and coaching programs, etc. And throughout all of that, we just so happens to have coached over 10,000 different course creators from all around the world, hundreds of them going on to sell 7 figures in courses, hundreds more 6 figures plus, collectively selling over $100 million in courses through our tutorials, our education, our templates, and more. I have tried just about every software you can think of to create, market, and sell an online course. Many of them share the same problem that GHL has, but this generalist problem of catering to everybody but nobody is mainly manifest in 6 areas. So with that context, let's now jump into the 6 main categories that I would be using and I have used to join many other softwares, but specifically GHL versus CC360. First, starting with category number 1, we have costs. Arguably one of the most important things to you, and I'm talking about both hidden costs and obvious costs. And there's this thing in the GHL world I call the DIY tax, okay? Do it yourself. In other words, there is a tax that you are paying, a hidden cost that many people do not calculate or even consider when they first join a software like GHL. This exists in other platforms as well, like Kajabi and School.com. I won't talk about that here, but it's a cycle and it looks like this. Stage 1 is the honeymoon. You sign up, you're excited. I've got everything I need. So many funnels and automations, CRM, email, it's all here. That lasts for about 7 days. Then comes stage 2, the overwhelm. A week or 2 goes by and you're staring at 15,000 templates catered again to everybody, dentists and chiropractors and random things that you have nothing to do with. You have no idea which funnel to use, what automation to use. Where do I even start? What's the path? There's no coaching. There's no support from me specifically as I'm selling education online. That then leads to stage number 3, the DIY scramble. You start buying stuff to fill in all these gaps. You buy GHL snapshots for $500, $1,000, $2,000. A course on how to build funnels or sell your courses in the first place for another $1,000. You got to get coaching from someone who understands how to use GHL well. Maybe you got to go hire someone on Fiverr to build these things for you. Another $1,000 to $2,000. You're buying email sequences and automations. You're then trying to duct tape all these random, disconnected, disjointed parts together because none of it was built for course creators, which then creates the next problem, which is a support nightmare. Something is going to break inevitably. You hop on chat with GHL, and the first person to help you just got done helping a dentist and a chiropractor and an agency owner. Your problem requires someone who understands the context of selling information, courses, coaching, etc. The support rep can't help you, so it gets turned into a ticket. 3, 5, 7, sometimes 14 days later, you get an answer back, which then leads to step number 5. You give up. You retreat back to what you knew previously. you go to Kajabi, Teachable, maybe it's school.com, wherever you felt cozy and comfortable before all this complex mess. I have heard that cycle, I'm not joking you, hundreds of times from different course creators and infopreneurs who joined a GHL thinking it was this beautiful all-in-one platform, and then they go back to whatever they were using before. This cycle right here is invisible when you very first sign up. The trap only reveals itself months later. I know this because I went through it myself. In 2021, I joined a version of GHL. It took me 6 months to figure out everything and build it all from scratch. And that's coming from somebody who literally for a living builds funnels, automations. I love the tech. I've joined all these different softwares. If it takes me 6 months, how long is it going to take you, somebody who I'm guessing is not going to want to be a tech expert? You're not a master copywriter. You've never built funnels and automations before. This is literally all I do every day. So from an obvious hard cost standpoint, we have intentionally made our software, CC360, match every part of GHL. We've got a $97 per month plan too. Every single feature you're getting in GHL, you are getting in our software on that plan. 90% of our users join the middle plan at $147 a month for some very obvious value, support, and feature reasons. So if just the hard, obvious, like what am I paying per month matters to you, there's that. But again, the second half I think is more important, which is the opportunity cost. It's those hidden costs. If, for example, you're a very capable person and you could learn GHL in half the time I did, which again, if you can, amazing, kudos to you. That's 3 months of learning all the tech, going through all these headaches, buying all these templates and different pieces to connect it to make it work together. 3 months of learning tech you could have put towards creating content, building your audience, selling your course, marketing the darn thing. So just an opportunity cost alone, whatever your hourly rate is, you're losing $3,000 to $6,000 just in that time cost. But you got to add on all the other things, the snapshots, the courses, the coaching, the support, the templates you're going to have to buy to make GHL work. So that's what I call the DIY tax. It's one of the most important things. You got to understand that cycle. You're probably in it right now, but that's just the cost. Okay, let's now talk about the support you're getting. Category number 2 is in fact the support. Or in other words, when you get stuck, because you will in any software you choose, what kind of help and support can you expect? Now, I could go through and give you a super in-depth comparison between like waiting times on the chat support or giving you the customer satisfaction scores between GHL and us. The hard part is number 1, I can't grab those from GHL directly, but number 2, this point is so easy to make just by showing you the reviews that are out publicly for you to see. I'll put a couple on the screen here, but if you look at any of the reviews comparing GHL versus CC360, one of the biggest complaints you're going to get about GHL is yes, the complexity and the overwhelm and the learning curve, which I talked about in problem number 1. But the second biggest complaint has everything to do with support. Again, GHL is catering to millions of different people from hundreds of different niches. It is almost impossible to create a support system that can cater to that many people in that many different verticals. It is 100 times easier for us to nail the support, the quality, the timing, everything when we have just one person we're going after versus 100. And the reviews speak for themselves. This is just a handful, a smidge of what people say about our software, but literally hundreds of people raving about the support they are getting. We average a 58-second response time in the 24/7 chat support that we have. In that chat support, we average a 98% customer satisfaction. I don't know if you can even appreciate how hard that is to achieve in the software space. It is a very big deal, but any of the softwares I've joined, whether it's ClickFunnels, Teachable, Thinkific, Kajabi, School.com, any of these, I always separate the word support into 3 main buckets. The first, which is arguably the most important, is that 24/7 technical support component. Not an AI bot, not some manual you got to go read, not some random person who has no idea what the heck they're doing, but high quality, high caliber individuals who can help you extremely fast when you get stuck in the moments. The second category though is coaching. GHL can't coach you because they're not course creators. They can bring some people who have had success in that space every once in a while, but they got to cater to 100 other people too. I have a strategic coaching call every other Friday with myself that you can hop on, where I'm teaching you exactly how we sell courses right now in 2026, what's working, the trends. I bring on other experts to cover topics like email marketing, funnels, copywriting, YouTube growth, Instagram growth, video ads, and much more. But then we've got tech coaching calls as well. My CC360 experts hop on, and for 1 or 2 hours, they just sit down, answer all your questions. You've got so many touch points every week to get coaching, both strategic and technical. And then third is the community, right? GHL's got 100,000 plus people across every industry imaginable. When you ask a question, you're going to get a whole bunch of competing junk from people you probably don't want to, nor should you be listening to. Whereas our community, we have just under 5,000 course creators, some of them doing 6 and 7 figures in sales. When you ask a question, you're getting answered by me and my team and those people. That's a whole different caliber of help. With the advent of AI, I would argue that support is probably the number one biggest area where softwares are starting to really get lazy. And it shows. It's one of the most frustrating pain pain points I see across every one of my competitors that people are constantly complaining about. But for anybody who's still skeptical on this point, I always give them an invitation. I say, just join both if you want to. Join GHL, join CC360, compare them side by side, and you tell me which has the better support experience with coaching, community support, and everything in between. But let's now move on to one of the most underrated and yet most important categories, and that is email deliverability. Email is everything if you are a course creator and selling information online. It is how you communicate with your customers or would-be customers. And I'm going to spare you the techno-babble talk that I could jump into here when I talk about email deliverability, the IP reputation, the DNS optimization, all of the rules that you have to follow and be optimized for if you want your emails to land in the primary inbox. Historically, GHL has a documented email deliverability problem. Google it. It's all over the place. To simplify a very technical reason of why that's happening into a very succinct answer for you, GHL essentially puts you on what's called shared IPs. Everybody who's using GHL is using the same IP that you are sending emails from. So if Jerry down the road sucks at sending emails and he's getting spam complaints every single day, that reputation attached to that IP is being shared with you. That kind of sucks. I don't want to suffer from the sins of somebody else. Too bad. There's no choice. Well, you could buy a dedicated IP from GHL. That's an option. But even dedicated IPs are kind of like babysitting. You have to make sure the quality is really high. You have to manage that super effectively. GHL is also not going to help you set up the DNS properly. There's a whole bunch of DNS backend junk and garbage you got to do to make sure your emails have the highest chance of landing in the primary inbox. Avoiding spam folders 100% of the time isn't possible. Every single business is going to fluctuate. There's a lot of reasons and things that go into email deliverability. And here at CC360, we do two things. Number one, we teach you how to send emails properly. You have to learn this. If you care about emails, you got to learn it. I have hired some of the best email marketers in the world who do emails for the biggest names that you'd all recognize. I have condensed and packaged all of that knowledge into some very easy to follow course content that you can consume and learn how to send emails properly. But number two, we do most of the hard stuff for you. When you join our software, we have a mandatory onboarding call where we do all the DNS setup for you. We have actively managed IPs, both dedicated and shared, but in our software, you have the option to avoid sharing the email sins of everyone else around you or have a far higher standard of managing that IP so that your emails are going to the right inboxes. We've got people who leave platforms like MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, and more. They start sending emails from our software, some of them doubling their email open rates, getting rid of all these spam problems they had. Every single year, consistently, we do multiple six figures on Black Friday because we can blast our email contacts. But more importantly, right, leading up to Black Friday, I have to be in contact with and nurture my email list. And if they're not going to spam, I literally can't talk to my customers, which is a huge problem for sales. And you'll find that problem inside of GHL. Moving on to category number 4, we have what I call the credibility gap. Let me just pause and ask you a question. Okay, think of all the most popular softwares to create, market, and sell online courses. Ask yourself, how many of those platforms or softwares were built by course creators? Not built for them. I know who the target market is, but built by a course creator. They're very few and far between. Look at platforms like Kajabi, for example. Kajabi was built by developers, not by course creators, not by people who are in the trenches doing this as well as we have done it. And they have to borrow credibility from big faces like Brendan Burchard, who is more so in that information selling space. But even he is more of this glorified figure who's not really in the trenches with you, teaching you how to actively sell and market and create online courses. GHL, again, amazing software developers. Sean Clark, I know him. He's a great guy. They built this to serve agencies. They built it for the masses. They're not course creators, and that's fine. I took the best parts of what GHL has, which is an incredible software development team. They made an amazing infrastructure, but it was missing 70% of what's most important. I would say the software, the tools, are about 30% of the equation. People think if they get a software, all of a sudden their wildest dreams are going to come true. There's nothing about just having a Kajabi subscription or having a GHL subscription that just magically poops out money. The remaining 70% is the support, it's the coaching, it's the templates, it's the education, the blueprint. How do I do this well? That is where I would say we have the biggest leg of credibility, having sold over $25 million in just courses, $30 million plus in other digital products and software. You have to ask the question, do you want a software built by developers or by someone who's done what you are trying to do and has done it in the top 1% of people in the world? Inside of our software, right? You're not just getting the tools. The tools are exceptional. I think GHL's tools are really good. Again, but it's 30%. We give you our full-blown suite of course content. It's called Course Creator Pro. This teaches you exactly how we sold our first course called Time Filmmaker past $25 million in sales. We then took all that we learned from how we did that, made a second course called Course Creator Pro. We've sold $3.5 million of that course. And we teach you everything from, again, how to create the course in the first place, all the equipment to buy, how to make high quality content, how to do the right market research, how to use our software specifically for course creators, the marketing, the advertising, if you want to run paid ads, YouTube ads, Facebook ads, if you want to grow on YouTube, create content on Instagram, how to use AI. This is the blueprint. It's the education. It's the part that every software is missing. You got people like GHL who just try their best to bring in people, random stuff to just make it valuable. You've got Kajabi who tries to attach themselves to other people to make that education. But on top of the software, it's very rare to get somebody who's literally handing you every single funnel, every system, every automation, every email, all the templates that we have used to sell $25 million in courses, to use that, skip this ginormous learning curve, get a massive shortcut, and start finding success far faster. So that's the education and the credibility gap. Let's now talk about templates. Category number 5 is all about templates and done-for-you tools. This is one of the most frustrating parts about any software I join, is they give you 15,000 different templates to choose from, whether it's funnels, emails, automations, or more. It is analysis paralysis. Okay, which one is actually going to work for you as a course creator? Which one converts? Which one's been studied? Which one has been proven? The answer is none of them, because they make them all pretty designs. I don't want designs. I want what works. My whole goal, and your goal as a course creator, is to sell your course. It's to make money, to build a business. We do it much differently here. I call it the IKEA model. If GHL is a warehouse full of random parts, 15,000 pieces of furniture and unassembled, unlabeled, no instructions, and then they say, good luck figuring out where this all goes, CC360 gives you pre-assembled furniture from someone who's built it 1,000 times. I don't want to give you 15,000 templates. I want to give you 50 of the most important templates used just for course creators. And on top of that, I want to give you tools. Just about every month here at CC360, we are releasing what I call micro software, things that you can bolt onto CC360 to make it 10 times more valuable. We've got tools that do entire market research reports for you, telling you your ideal price, your competitive advantages. We've got tools that make entire course curriculums for you, tools that make lead magnets for you, tools that write emails for you, tools that help you build your offer, all of which are built on top of our knowledge, having done this for the last 10 years. You know, when I go out and I'm trying to get leads, I'm trying to grow my email list, I'm going to design and build a funnel, sometimes spend thousands of dollars designing it with some of the best minds out there. I go out and I test those on my YouTube channel with paid ads. We spend multiple 6 figures, even 7 figures pushing all of these funnels and landing page designs. And then at the end of that, you get only the ones that have worked the best. For example, this funnel gets me a 70% opt-in rate. I tried that out only after dozens of different iterations and styles and designs, and you're getting just the end result that I found. You get to plug in your stuff, change all of your branding and colors, and you've got a proven template. And that concept applies to emails. It applies to automations, to content, copywriting, every vertical you can think of for selling an online course. That's the added benefit you get at CC360 that you're not going to get in something like GoHighLevel. Which leads me to the 6th and final category that's most important to me and probably to most of you, and that is services. This essentially answers the question, okay, what if I don't want to do everything on my own? What do I have at my disposal to hire or pay for to get extra help? This again is where CC360 blows GHL out of the water. It's not that GHL doesn't have services. They do. You can, for example, upgrade to their priority support, which last I checked costs $500 a month just to get better supports, which I would argue you're already getting inside of CC360. They offer migration services, but only for WordPress. And that's about it. The rest of these services that you're going to pay from GHL are actually from third-party people who want to sell you on, hey, I can help set this up in your GHL account, or I can do this for you in GHL, where you got to go to Fiverr or Upwork to hire people separately. That's kind of what you're going to get at GHL. Whereas here at CC360, we offer what are called go-to-market packs. This is essentially giving you everything that you need to get going and go to market. All the most important funnels, a full-blown email nurture sequence, all the automations that you need, your course curriculum, a fully functioning website, your products actually working with all the right price points, and then most importantly, all of that connected together. That is where people lose the majority of their time, is just in the connection of making it all work and communicate. All your forms and funnels got to talk to your emails, and the emails have to go out at the right time. And then you've got your course login portal, and then you got your community, then you got this over here. There's too many moving parts. And again, because GHL is not made for course creators, you're never going to find anything remotely close to that, but we can offer it because we've mastered it. I built a system behind it so we can repeatedly give you these go-to-market packs and build it for you. Of course, there's no guarantees on whether or not that go-to-market pack is going to make you money. There's still the work you got to put in. You still have to market this thing yourself. You still have to advertise it yourself, but everything you need to just launch, you can purchase from us from a service standpoint. You don't have to buy that from us, by the way. Plenty of people want to do it the DIY route. All I'm saying is that whether you go the DIY route or the done-for-you route, GHL doesn't even offer done-for-you options for you. And then the DIY option, as I've explained previously, is going to cost you 5 to 10 times more time, resource, and money. Second, we also offer migration services. If you want to get migrated off of Kajabi, Teachable, School.com, or another GHL account, we take care of all of that for you. We've got specialists who specialize in building all of your funnels or websites off of those platforms, moving your course content, your PDFs, your quizzes, your CRMs, all the emails you have. Whatever you've built on other platforms, it can be migrated into our software. It's quite the big spectrum. Some of you've got really easy easy migrations. Others of you have been on platforms for like 5 years, and so you've got a lot more to migrate. But either way, the services that are at your disposal, if you choose, again, it's freedom of choice. You don't have to. We've made it very easy for those who want the DIY option, and we've made it optional for those who want the done for you option. But again, the whole reason we can even offer these services is the difference between a software who specializes in one thing and makes every step of the way as easy as possible for you versus a generalist software that says, look, you got the tool, we gave you the Swiss Army knife, now go do whatever you want with it. It's a very different experience for the end user, I can assure you. So those are the 6 main categories that I look at when comparing different softwares, but let me now put it on a side-by-side table to kind of show you the main differences between CC360 and GHL. From a learning curve standpoint, you're going to find that GHL is going to take you 6 to 12 months. Again, it's kind of a range. It depends on how prolific you are at technology, how easy you can pick these things up. Maybe you could do it in 3 months or less. It's kind of a relative question, but we have found internally that with our users, the learning curve is closer to 2 to 4 weeks. Second is templates that convert. Again, with GHL, you're going to have to go and spend $500, $1,000, $2,000, up to $5,000 plus, depending on your needs, on different templates for funnels, websites, automations, emails. Whereas inside of our software, no matter which plan you join on, you get all of our templates we make, and we continually add to it, giving you the ones that are the most proven to work. Third is coaching, and specifically from course creator coaches like myself with GHL, again, because they don't offer it themselves, and for sure not on a regular basis. You're going to have to go and hire one on your own. Again, very big spectrum here. If we're talking about good coaches who actually have results that you want to replicate, I would say the minimum, it's probably going to cost you $1,000 all the way up to $50,000 plus, but a good average is probably in the $3,000 to $4,000 range if you want to find a really good coach. Of course, inside of our software, at the time of recording right now, we've got 2 tech coaching calls per week, along with every other Friday, I myself hop on, I give you a strategic coaching call for an hour and a half. Next, you've got done for you build outs. Again, you're going to have to go and do this yourself with Fiverr, Upwork. Maybe you find it for cheap. Cheap also has a cost. Maybe it costs you a couple $1,000 to find a good one, but we offer migration services anywhere from $300 up to about $1,500 is what it costs, depending on the size of your migration. But the average somebody spends on our migration is somewhere around $600 if you want to get it migrated off of other softwares. Next, email deliverability. With GHL, you're going to have the shared IP issue. You're going to have spam problems. You're going to have to learn how to send emails effectively because the how-to is almost just as important as the back-end infrastructure. You could have the world's most perfect software. You still have to have the blueprint for how to effectively send emails ongoing. Whereas in CC360, we give you that how-to. We also do the DNS setup for you, and we put you on the best possible IPs that are actively managed by us every single week. Support at GHL is going to be generic, a lot longer wait times. Gets put in the tickets, got to wait for it to come back to you, or you got to upgrade to their $500 per month priority support plan, which I think is crazy. Whereas here at CC360, we've got 58-second response times, 98% customer satisfaction. It is consistently one of the biggest raving points everybody seems to love about our software. Then you got micro tools, right? Things that we're constantly adding every single month, every quarter. AI tools that you can use in tandem with the software to help you create your funnels, your offers, the course content itself, how to market yourself better, emails, and much more. Summing everything up, if you are a very specific type of person, if you're a course creator, a coach, a consultant, somebody who's trying to take your information and package it, whether that's in the form of a coaching program, a course, a community, a membership. If that is you, it really isn't a discussion. If you're an agency, if you want to go and white label this thing, that's a whole other conversation we got to have. White labeling is like 10 times more cost that people don't consider. They think it's going to be this magical pill. White labeling it is extremely difficult to do. If you're a chiropractor or a restaurant owner and that's your main use case for it, yes, maybe GHL is going to be the best fit for you. 90% of our users join that middle plan at $147 a month. Again, at the time of recording this video, it may change by the time you're watching this. You can see exactly how all of our plans break down, compare it side by side, apples to apples with GHL. You get a 30-day free trial as opposed to GHL's 14-day free trial. Link is in the description. Go start your 30-day free trial. Hopefully this gives you some clarity. You understand now the differences between GHL and CC360. If you were skeptical, if you were curious, if you were concerned, there you have it. If you have any other questions, comment below. Let me know. Keep crushing it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.